The luck of life comes in waves, sometimes for the best, sometimes for the worst, but life can turn on a dime with one lucky or unlucky draw of the deck. Welcome in. Much love, Trav here, my last day in Nashville. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I've been on the road for 6 weeks trying to get something done, and I got it done. Locked up what I needed to get my invite to Japan and all of these pro competitions for next year. Won 5 plane tickets yesterday. Really crazy day. Successful trip. Headed back to California to chill for the next couple months. One quick trip to Vegas, and then we're off to Japan. And I had to share this because, wow, life's luck comes in waves. Oh my God. Go back 1 year ago. 1 year ago, April last year, I was sleeping on a couch in a basement. Friends' parents in Seattle, actually. I had made a mistake and said the wrong thing. Got blacklisted in my industry. Lost my income. Had to figure a bunch of shit out. Hadn't competed in any of these tournaments in a year and a half in that point. It's like, what the fuck am I gonna do, right? If you told me then that it's not even a year later, or 1 year later, that I would be where I'm at now, having gone to Hawaii, gone to Europe, trip to Mexico, now trip to Japan, proving myself as one of the best players in this game, have a business around it that's doing well enough to let me do all this. I would have said that is that's wild. That is wild. But it happens with one top deck. One draw of the card. I drew the wrong card 2 Novembers ago, but then in October or July, I think it was July last year, there was a tournament on the West Coast, about 8 hours, Portland. I said, all right, let's go. I'm down. Wasn't planning on even competing, kind of just wanted to hang out. But the night before the event, it's like, yo, obviously I'm gonna play, we're here now. 1,600 players, 3 rounds to go. I'm one of the last 32 players fighting for the top 8 spot, and it comes down to this. I switched in the wrong card, and I'm 1 land short of casting it. I have to top deck 1 land to untapped land to win. Maybe I have a 1 in 4 shot. If I don't, I lose, I'm eliminated, and not only am I eliminated, but it's my fault because I switched in the wrong spell. I switched in a 5-mana sweeper instead of a 4-mana sweeper. So if I win, it's despite my mistake. If I lose, that's justice. But God, luck, the universe, whatever, gave me that land off the top. Into top 8, into top 2. And I'm hooked up with a plane ticket to Hawaii. As it happens, that was the first tournament of the season. Going to the first pro competition of the season. Lucky, and still I need to spike that one to be in a good shot as well. And there I am once again in Hawaii with 3 rounds left to go. Have to win them all to lock it up. I win the first, I win the second. In that 3rd round, I'm against pro Brock Parker, and it comes down to this again. I have to draw the 6th untapped land to cast my Torrential Gearhulk, my 6 drop. And there it is, I draw it. And I win my flight to Ireland, and I lock up my invitation to Nashville as well. So I go to Ireland. I mean, for one, I chill in Hawaii. That was fucking dope. Made some good connections. So I'm off to Ireland. And in Ireland, once again, I find myself having to win the last 3 rounds to lock everything up. I win the first and I win the second. Third round, I'm up against a French player, Elliot Bousseau. And it comes down to this: I need the 6th land to lock it up. I go to the deck and it's not there. A 1 win away, but it's not there. So I say, you know what? This is sending me on a journey that I did not expect 1 year ago. I'm going to get this point. I'm going to go to tournaments. So I go to Utrecht, hang out in Amsterdam, come up empty. I go to San Antonio, come up empty. I go to Mexico City, finish 1 win short again. I go to Richmond, finish 1 win short, but I get the 2 points I need to get me closer. Go to Nashville, again, finish what I think is 1 point short. But I'm lucky, we're lucky. And every single match point counts, because we locked the 4th slot in the team competition by 1 point. Every single match counted for me and my team. That gets me the plane ticket to Japan. It locks me for everything next year. Right now I'm the top limited draft player on the tour, and I have a shot at going to Worlds. All this from 1 year ago when I hadn't played in a tournament. I was rebuilding my income, trying to figure that shit out. The swings, man. You know, one thing different and all of this would have happened. One thing, say one thing different and none of this happens. I don't get tossed back onto that couch. One card drawn different, I don't go to any of these places. And all that shit changed so fast in a year, right? All of it changed so fast. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And that's my story right now. But I look around me and I read a lot of books, successful people. It's not so wild. It's not so wild. It's crazy, but it happens. You look at people who come up quick. People come up from turns of fate, leave them impoverished. They meet the right person, they do the right thing. Suddenly, everything changes for them for the better. So, I know it can happen to me, I know it can happen to you. And I just want to inspire you and say, yo, it's possible. Wherever you're at, where are you at right now in life? Wherever you're at, it's possible for things to change for the worse, and things to change for the best. And I think back, the for the worse are often a blessing in disguise. If I hadn't made that quote unquote mistake, I wouldn't be here. This wouldn't have happened, right? I wouldn't have had the fire in me to prove myself. I wouldn't have the impetus to change everything that I'm doing. If I hadn't missed that land in Ireland, then I wouldn't have gone to San Antonio. I wouldn't have gone to Mexico for the first time. I wouldn't have gone to DC, Baltimore, Virginia, Nashville in the 6-week trip. I wouldn't have met all these people. I wouldn't have seen all these old friends, but I did. And that's what it's about. So, lucky, yeah. Yes, sir. For good, for worse, it's possible for things to change real fast. So, let me give you a few pieces of advice that I think made all the difference and will make all the difference. And one of these is, for those of you who are in a little bit of a rough spot, desperation is your best friend. Hunger is your best friend. You get complacent, nothing happens. You got to be thrown into disarray sometime to do great things. If you aren't desperate, you're not going to have a drive to grind it out. And I worked for this, and I got it. If you want to read a book on that, my recommendation is The Power of Broke by Damon John. You want to hear about someone and people who came up from nothing real quick because they were desperate. Be desperate, be hungry, don't give that up. You can lose everything in a moment and you can win it back within a year. It's possible. Another piece of advice. Persistence. Well, you might have seen my interview with Christian Calcano about, this guy, he just top-8'd his first pro event, trying for 16 years. He spent 6 years trying to get onto the Pro Tour. He played in over 90 Pro Tour qualifiers. Over 90 weekends spent trying to qualify and failing. Most people quit after 3 or 4 tries. 10 tries maybe. 30 tries starts to sound a little bit insane. 90, I never even heard of that before. But he finally wins one, makes it onto the Pro Tour, and he spends the next 10 years trying to get a top 8 and just got it this weekend. Persistence, right? You have to take shots. I went on the road thinking, I'm going to be persistent, I have this opportunity, I'm going to take shots. So I took those shots and I got there too. And you look at stories of this, you have to keep trying. You want a book on persistence? Adrift, 76 Days Lost at Sea. Write that one down. That's a story of persistence. Life and death. It's the difference between life and death. Persistence. 76 days, a lot of people would give up after 30 days, but if you just keep going, you can get there. One more. Visualization and belief. I've come around to this. A lot of people say it's fake, bullshit. The law of attraction, The Secret. There's something real about this. If you see things happen, they happen. I think back to Portland, where I drew that land. I had a plan to compete in 18 rounds, which meant I was going all the way to the finals. I never before have since said I'm planning for 18 rounds casually. And there I was in the finals, 18 rounds. This weekend, one of our teammates, we got our gear, our shirt you can see here from our sponsor for this event, Quality Beast. And he said, whoa, we only got one shirt. How am I supposed to wear this for 3 days? Casually. The event is only 2 days, except for the 8 players who make the final, top of the standings. And he was one of those players. And I knew right then he was going to be in the top 8 because he saw it, he understood, where a lot of people couldn't. You look at Jim Carrey, who wrote himself a $5 million check, dated 5 years, Thanksgiving '95, puts it in his wallet, walks around with it. 1995, gets paid $10 million off of Dumb and Dumber. There's something real about this. I saw Japan, I feel that I saw all of this. I saw the fall, I saw the rise, and I see a bright future ahead. And I want to share that with you, that energy, that if you are desperate and are hungry and you're persistent and you visualize it, you can make wild shit happen, go from literal basement couch to jet setting around the world in less than a year. Asia, Europe, Latin America, all around the US. It's fucking crazy, right? So the last thing I want to say is just thank you, all of you. Much love. I should have said this at the start. For the support from the beginning to the end and continuing in the future. It's really wild. It's really wild. And I just want to thank you for supporting me, those of you who believe in me, those of you who helped me along the way. It's been many of you. And I hope that wherever I'm going, I can help lift you up and take you along with me. And we're going to do it. So the journey's just beginning. There'll be some twists and turns. The luck of life has a lot in store for me. Perhaps some swings down, some swings up. I know how it works. I'm prepared. But whatever it comes down to, I'm going to stay hungry stay desperate. I'm gonna stay persisting, and I'm gonna stay visualizing, and we'll get there. So much love. I look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments. Talk to you soon. Peace.